Hey y'all, so a couple weeks ago I was testing a new format for my videos. It was basically a video where I would just dump a bunch of tips about a specific subject. Today's subject, for example, is gonna be OBS Studio. The last video I made like that was about Twitch. You can go watch it after you watch this video, okay? So yeah, today in no particular order, I'm just gonna throw a bunch of OBS Studio tip at you. Some of them are advanced, some of them are for beginners. You never know, maybe you know them, maybe you don't know them. Let me know which one you already knew. Also, a quick reminder, if you're not following me on Twitter, you should, because right now I'm running a giveaway where I'm giving away 2 lav mics from the company Comica. I believe it's my pinned tweet, so go follow me on Twitter. Anyways, I'm super excited for today's video, but right before we start, a quick message from our sponsor. I don't know if you heard, but Twitch recently gave people the ability to upload animated emotes on the platform, which is so cool. Now, even if you don't have access to this option, I think animated emotes could be a cool way to display like as a GIF on Twitter, on Discord, to even show off on your stream with some alerts. But finding an emote artist that also does animation or motion design is super complicated. That's why if you go to own.gg/gallevel, you can click on sub emotes and badges and click on Twitch sub emotes, and you'll realize there's a bunch of pre-made animated emotes right there. Now the cool thing is that Owned is constantly doing some promos, so right now 50% off with the Halloween sale. Check this out. We got a White Wolf animated sub emotes. There's the Reaper, the Lion, an Angel, a CT, a unicorn, a regular dude, and of course much more. I'll let you check it out at own.gg/gallevel. That is own3d.gg/gallevel. Okay, so here we are in OBS Studio. This is the Bubbles overlay pack available right now at gumroad.com/gallevel for free. I believe it's free. Is it free? Would you look at that? It is free. So if you want to download it for free, just type 0 in the price box, physically type 0 in the price box, or you can put a donation if you want. If you want to give me $1,000, that also works. I'll take it. Spend time doing this. Anyways, we're using this as an example and we can get started when it comes to the chips. Okay, so the first tip is that you can rotate sources in OBS Studio. And I'm not talking about 90 degrees or 80 degrees. You can rotate whatever degrees you want in OBS Studio. For example, my chat, and this is gonna revolutionize the way that I create overlays now. You can select your chat, press Ctrl E, and it will bring the edit transform chat box, okay? Well, for chat box. You can also right click, go to transform, and click edit transform, right? And here there's rotation. And let's say that I want this 15 degrees. Or minus 15 degrees. I don't know if it's new or if they already had it, but I'm super excited. You can rotate stuff however you want. We can really create overlays from scratch in OBS Studio now. Another tip is to make sure that you're always running OBS Studio in admin mode. Basically, it will give Windows enough priorities just to not mess with OBS Studio. A lot of people who are getting errors, sometimes their screen is black, and problems like that sometimes can be solved by just running it in admin mode. Admin mode. So from the start bar, you can right click on it, go to more, and then run as administrator. Or you can also open in file location, right click on this, go to properties, and under compatibility up there, you will see run this program as an administrator, okay? Just click and then apply. And that way, every time you start it, it will automatically run as administrator. Okay, I don't have a good example here because all my stuff is neat, but another tip is to clean your sources and also your scenes. You don't want to have 30 sources and 30 scenes because you're bound to get confused. Also, it clogs up your OBS, will probably be the cause of some issues. And let's be honest, you're not using all of them. So get them out of there or group them in order to make it clearer for yourself. Or you can also group them. So you can create the group by just clicking on the plus and finding group. You can name your group and then you can drag and drop whatever you want inside that group. And then you can collapse it, right? But another tip is your audio sources. Sometimes I see people streaming and their OBS is a jungle with audio sources. For example, they'll have sources like their webcam. And this is normal. Your webcam is a video capture device, but it also has an audio input. And OBS sometimes will just add it automatically. So what you can do is go ahead and click on the cogwheel and then hide. And if you miss it, you want to bring it back, you can just right click anywhere in the audio mixer, click unhide all, and it will show up. One thing this happens a lot with is browser sources. Sometimes you add a browser source and it will automatically add an input. The next tip has to do with quality options. The ability to click on the cogwheel when you're watching a stream, click on quality, and then having different options. Now I get it's a little confusing when you're starting to stream when it comes to who gets this and who doesn't. Twitch partners are guaranteed to have this all the time. So if they stream at 1080p, 6000 bitrate, they're gonna be fine because people can lower the quality. If you're an affiliate, you'll get it like half the time. You'll get it randomly basically. So there are days that you're gonna go live and it's gonna look like this. There's gonna be one option and that's it. So that means that if you're streaming at 1080p, 60 FPS, 6000 bitrate, people with bad internet, aka like a majority of the world, is gonna struggle to watch your stream. And when I say struggle, your stream is just gonna buffer and they won't be able to watch you. I won't be able to watch you. So you wanna lower your quality just to make sure that everyone is able to watch your stream while you're an affiliate. So 720p, 60 FPS, keep your bitrate between 2500 to 5000, I'd say. My next tip has to do with captions. Now, I've been talking a lot about extensions that you can use for captions. The advantage with extension captions is that people can turn them off if they don't like them, if they don't want them, they can change the color to make it more visible. I believe if they pay, they can get like more languages and all of that. There's a bunch of advantages on having an extension. The problem is that it's not hard-coded into your VOD, for example. It's not in your VOD, it's not in your video, it's not even in your OBS. It's just an extension. Now, with the rise of TikTok and all of that, people want to have their content be accessible no matter how it is, even if it's a clip, a VOD. So having hard-coded closed captions might be a better solution. And there is an OBS plugin for just that. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. You can check it out and you can see what it's gonna look like. So now when people take a clip, or if people watch your VODs, or if you're turning a clip into a TikTok, for example, it will already have captions. All right, a tip you might already know is if you mess up, let's say you move this here and you don't know how to bring it back, you can press Ctrl Z, right? So far so good, Ctrl Z. But what happens if you messed up twice? You bring it back and then you realize, actually it was cool up there. You can press Ctrl Shift Z to bring it back up there. So it's the redo button. Next tip has to do with logos, sponsor banners, social media pop-ups if you want, although this will not be a pop-up. So let's click on add and let's add an image. I'm gonna call it social. And let's say that you want your social to be on screen, but you don't want it to go away. You want it to keep it on screen, right? For example, you have your image, it is right there, and you want to place it somewhere over there, right? But it's a little too still. You don't want to go and, you know, add a browser source and do all of that. Let's say that you're lazy, okay? Which is not uncommon. Let's right click on it, click on filters, and we're going to add a scroll effect. So click plus, click on scroll, click OK, and we're going to give it some horizontal speed. And if you turn off loop, that means that it's going to show up once and it's going to disappear. You move this out of the way. And it's gone. So every time you come back to the scene, it's gonna show up. Let me close this. Let's go starting soon screen, go back to my intermission, boom, it shows up for a brief moment, and then it's outie. Or you can just loop it, right click, filters, go back in here, loop, and then it just does that, okay? It's an easy way to give a little bit of movement. You've probably seen people do it with the labels bar, as you can see here. But yeah, just to let you know, it's not just the labels bar that you can use this on. For example, if you create a little image with your emotes, you can display your emotes on screen like that. It could be a cute way and might be an incentive for people to actually subscribe to you. All right, in that same vein, since we were talking about the labels bar, one thing that often happens is that when you set up your labels bar like that and it scrolls, it's going to just stick to each other. So there won't be any space in between the labels, right? And you want to add your own space. There's multiple ways of doing this, especially from the service that you're using to get your labels. But if you want, you can do this directly into OBS. All right, let's go with this one. For example, you see that little space here. I'm going to double click on it to open up the properties. Well, I just have the example here, and I'm going to scroll all the way down. And let's say that I want more space in between. I can click use custom text extent. Boom. Remember that I have a scroll filter on that, right? And then from there, what I can do is just play around with the width until I find something that I like. 300, for example. All right, that's not bad. Let's go 400. That's too much. Okay, so maybe 350. There you go. Boom. Solved. Click OK. And now you have a little bit of space in between your text. Okay, next one has to do with your mic settings, and this is a question that I get a lot, so I'm excited to actually give you the tip. If you buy a brand new mic and you're adding filters and you want to listen to what it sounds like without having to record yourself and play it back, you want to listen to yourself in real time, you can do this in OBS Studio, kind of obviously. So you go wherever your source is. For example, if it was webcam, you would click on the cogwheel, click Advanced Audio Properties, and then wherever your mic is, you can go here in Audio Monitoring, click here and pick Monitor Only. Mute output so that it doesn't play it twice basically. But you click on this and now every time you speak, you will actually hear yourself. Please remember to put it back to monitor off once you're done using it, and then you'll be fine. Okay, a quick tip is if you're organizing, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter showing how they organize their scenes and they look great. If you're organizing your scene, maybe it's a good thing for you to give them some colors. As you can see, my webcam is green right now. I can right click on the media source and I can go to set color and then pick another color. Like blue. Boom. You can also set a custom color. So I want my purple. Give me my good purple. Like this. Boom. Right there. So you won't have to look for sources. They will pop out basically. You will immediately know which one is which. Talking about visibility, when it comes to your scenes or your sources, you can actually set your scenes to grid mode, making it way easier for you to just move in between them. So what you want to do is go to scenes, right click and click on grid mode. Boom. If you're using something that has a touchscreen, for example, it might be easier, or just visually, it might be easier to navigate in between your scenes. Now, a tip that my followers should know by now is you can hold Alt on your keyboard and drag the sides. And when I say sides, so everything but the corner, even though sometimes the corner works, I guess, in order to crop. So I can do this and my source is going to be cropped. On OBS Studio, it's really cool because it shows you the green sides are cropped. So you can uncrop them if you want. But if you wanted to stretch something, which I advise against, don't ever stretch anything unless it's a color source, hold shift. And now I can be a thin boy or I can be a wide boy. But of course, you can press Ctrl Z a couple times and then you're back. Hey gal, I heard you mention color source. What are those? Let's create a new scene. Boom. Color sources. I'm going to click plus, add a new color source. Boom, right there. Color source. It's just a source where you can pick the color. And the cool thing is that you can create your whole overlay just like this if you wanted to. I could go with this purple, I could go there, and by using, stretch and crop, let's say that this would be my labels bar. I can right click, copy, right click, paste duplicate, hold this here, uncrop it a little bit, maybe stretch that out, just like that. Okay, cool. From there, I can add my camera back, right click on camera, copy that camera, go back here, right click, paste reference, wait for it to appear. Boom, there it is. That is very weird. Is this working? Okay. Very weird behavior there, but let's ignore it. All right, bring that down. Bring that B back. Place it where you want and then crop it in order to make it fit. And from there, all you have to do is slap your gameplay behind it. Boom, you just created your own overlays using OBS purely. No Photoshop, nothing. Just OBS. Now, talking about creating overlays without Photoshop and all that, what you can do is download stock footage. There's a cool website called Pexels, pexels.com, and you can type, I don't know, abstract, and there's a bunch of videos, and those are stock footage. Make sure you read the rights. For example, this is like free to use. So I can download this. Boom, it's done downloading. I might be able to drag and drop it. Let me drag, go back here, drop it. Boom, there it is. And you know what? Maybe that's part of my overlay now. Oh, I need to loop it. Let me double click, click loop. And now part of my overlay is animated. Maybe I want this to be my labels bar, right? Right there. Boom, keep it in the middle. Let me copy this, paste reference. And this is going to be my webcam overlay. It literally took me seconds. There we go. Animated overlay right there. Now I suggest you don't take something that is that distracting, that is moving that fast. But otherwise, there you go. I just created a camera overlay right in front of you. Less than a minute, I think. So stock footage, is amazing. Go look for free stock footage on Google. You will find some amazing stuff. All right, while we're on the subject of webcams, let me do this. Let me delete the rest. You can add a specific filter to have a specific effect on your camera. For example, what if I didn't like the camera shape, or I don't want a rectangle? No matter what I do, I don't want a square, I don't want a rectangle. I can right click on the camera, click filters, click plus, add image mask blend, click OK, and depending on an image that I'm gonna create, you can make them with MS Paint if you want to. That's gonna be black and white. I'm gonna determine the different levels of transparency. So white reveals, black hides, any level of gray is going to be the level of transparency. I need to articulate, enunciate. For example, this is from another tutorial that I have, and I have this mask. You'll see what it looks like. You see what it looks like and what it makes me look like. Boom. And now you have a, what is it called? Horizontal, vertical webcam right there. Extra tip, you can right click, go to transform, and then flip horizontally. That didn't work. Did I center it? Right click, go to transform, and then flip horizontally. There you go. Nice. If the gameplay is over there, then it's cool that you're looking at the gameplay and not at the wall, you know? You might realize, I probably should have put that filter off. There you go. You might realize that my chat that I typed earlier, it just stays there. Even if I go from this screen and I come back, the thing by default, it actually doesn't do that. My stinger didn't go off there. Well, it's a very simple little box that you have to uncheck once you're adding your chat as a browser source or just a chat box, for example, in Streamlabs OBS. Double click on it, and then you will see something called Shutdown source when not visible. If this is on, if I move scenes, well, it already shuts it off. But if I go to my chat and I type something, prompting Nightbot to respond, okay, it's there. Great. If I go to my game scene and then I come back, it's empty. I think it's already lonely enough to be a live streamer than to have like your stream looks like no one has chatted. No. Turn that thing off. Double click on properties, uncheck shutdown source when not visible. Okay, let's talk about transitions. Right now, I actually don't have a stinger transition. This is a normal like alpha transition. Let me show you. Scene transition. It's a Luma wipe transition. If I switch it to a fade, for example, boom, that's a fade. That's a long fade, 2 seconds, but now it's fade. But every time I switch from whatever scene to whatever scene, it's gonna be a fade. What if I wanted my starting scene to intermission to be a fade, but I wanted my intermission to gameplay to be a Luma wipe? So fade is gonna be the general one, but I want the gameplay to have a Luma wipe if we're going to it. Right click on it, click transition override, click on Luma wipe, and now if I go to intermission, it's gonna fade. But if I go back to game, it's gonna Luma wipe. That easy. Oh, I got a good one. I got a very, very good one. Let's create a new scene for this one. If you're recording a tutorial on OBS, for example, just like I'm doing right now, I'm currently using Streamlabs OBS to record OBS, so I don't have any issues. But if you use OBS to record and you're doing a tutorial on OBS, you will know that as soon as you're showing your display capture scene right there, it creates the inception effect. Now, bear with me. Depending on what you're showing, it might be complicated, but in order to make it visually appealing and a little bit better, what I usually do is, while I know that my stuff is already done, I would right click and disable the preview. So I'm not seeing what my OBS looks like, but it's basically showing what the screen looks like right now to them. So they have everything except for the inception effect. I don't know, hopefully that is clear. But if you want to move stuff around, obviously you're going to need the preview so you can move things around. But yeah, inception. Okay, I got another good one. We talked about the social media banner. If you wanted just one thing and you wanted to scroll, you can actually use a specific source that is called a slideshow if you want multiple images, right? So right there, image slideshow. And you can do this, for example, if you have merch, if you have sponsors or anything. This is pretty much your social media banner, social media pop-up, but without the pop-up part. It just keeps sliding like you know what a slideshow is. I'm gonna start talking about Microsoft PowerPoint as if it was super old, right? You guys know what PowerPoint is, right? And then from here, once you give it a name, you're gonna have all those options. So visibility, behavior, always play when not visible, stop when not visible, restart when visible. So it, well, while you're switching scenes basically, or you can pause. So if it's going to a point and then you switch scenes, it's gonna pause, it's gonna wait for you. You come back, it's gonna play to where it was. So it doesn't have to restart all the time. So make sure that you show everything that you wanna show. Slide mode, what is this? Manual, you can use hotkeys to actually control the slideshow. And in here, of course, there's time between slides, transition speed. Time is between slides is in milliseconds. This also in milliseconds. So I'm gonna put this to, let's say 2 seconds, for example. So loop will loop it. And if you don't have it on, it will just play once, I believe. And at the bottom here, you gotta click on the plus in order to add files or directory. That means that directory means that you can pick a folder and it will just go through every image in that folder. Let's try that. So I have this folder with some social media pop-ups. I'm gonna click select folder and there they are. So 2 seconds and the transition is fade. You can pick whatever you want. You can swipe, for example. I think I like that. Does it cut? No, it just actually swipes. So that's pretty cool. That's like an easy way of making a sponsor banner or social media pop-up, if you will. Let's turn off loop and I believe it will stop at some point, right? There you go. So it doesn't automatically hide, it just stops on the last frame, which is interesting. But you can also click on hide when slideshow is done and it will basically, well, it's gonna play it again and then it will stop and hide. And there you go. Okay, so straight into OBS, social media pop-up. The thing here is that there's no delay. It's not gonna restart unless, you know, you put it so that it comes back when you switch the scene or something like that. It's just not gonna come back. But yeah, I don't see enough people using this. Now, I definitely have more tips and tricks on OBS Studio, but this is all for now. I don't want the video to be too long. Let me know what you think of that type of video. You know, random tips, just bow, bow, bow. And maybe I'll make some more. Maybe there's a specific subject you would like to know random tips about. Let me know, comment section below, you know. Once again, the overlay you saw and a bunch of other overlays, including animated ones, are over at gumroad.com/getlevel. Most of them are free. The rest is very, very affordable. So consider checking it out. If you're looking to make like templates, animated logos and stuff like that, go to placeit.net, and with my link in the description, you're getting 15% off, so consider it. Follow me on social. Remember that I'm currently doing a giveaway, and every time I do a giveaway, it's most of the time it's gonna be on Twitter. It's gonna be my pinned tweet, so follow me on Twitter, okay? And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was really fun to make. Go out there, make me proud. Get level out.